Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Radha, Shyama Sundar Radha, Shyama Sundar Radhe, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritva Naram Chaivo Narotamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Sunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantos ahi abhadrani vidonati sruvasatam nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke
Shloke
bhaktir bhavati
Dirbhavati Naistike.
naistuki. Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
So
Krishna.
it is Saturday. Still I am here. So please do not confuse. So I got a request from Mataji to give class today as well. So it's my great honor to talk about Krishna Katha on Saturday as well. So I picked up one verse which feels like interesting to me, which talks about association of the devotees. So let's discuss about this verse and release this transcendental message which Bhagavatam gives us. Let me share my screen. Okay, let's recite. It is 11th canto, 3rd chapter, verse number 31st. Smaranta smarayantascha
Maranta
स्मरन्तस्मारयन्तश्च
Smarayantascha
mitho gaugaharam harim
मितो
Mito Gauga Haram
गौगाहरं
Harim
हरिं
bhaktya sanjaytaya bhaktya
Bhaktya
भक्त्या
Sanjataya
सञ्जातया
Bhaktya
भक्त्या
bibrityu pulakam tanum
बिभृत्य
Vibhratyo Pulakam
उत्पुलकं
Tanum
तनुम्
smaranta smarayantascha
Smaranta
स्मरन्ताभ्या स्मरणश्च
Smarayantascha
Mito Gagaugaharam Harim
Mito
मितो
Gauga
गौगाहरं
Haram
हरिं
Harim
Bhaktya Sanjataya Bhaktya
Bhaktya sanjataya
Sanjayatya
bhaktya.
Bhakta
बिभ्रत्युत् पुलकं तनुम्
Vibriyate
Bipratyu
Upulakam
tanum.
Tanum
स्मरन्ता स्मारयन्तश्च
Maranta
Smarantasya
smarayantascha.
Smarantasya
मितो गौघाहरं हरिम्
Mito
Mito
ghauga
Gauga
haram
Haram
harim.
Harim
भक्त्या सञ्जत्तया भक्त्या
Bhaktya
Bhaktya
sanjataya
Sanjayatya
bhaktya.
Bhakta
बिभ्रत्युत्पुलकं तनुम्
Vipratyu
Vibrete
pulakam
Utpulam
tanum.
Katanum
Smaranta smarayantascha.
स्मरन्ता
Smarantasya
स्मारयन्तश्च
Smarantasya
Mito ghauga haram harim.
मितो
Mito Gauga
गौघाहरं
Haram
हरिम्
Harim
Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya.
भक्त्या
Bhaktya
सञ्जातया
Sanjayatya
भक्त्या
Bhakta
Vipratyu pulakam tanum.
Vibrate
बिभ्रत्युत्पुलकं
Utpulam
तनुम्
Tanum
स्मरन्तः स्मारयन्तश्च
Smaranta
Smaranta
स्मरन्तास्मारयन्तश्च
smarayantascha.
Smarantasya
मितो गौगं हरं हरिम्
मितो
Mito
Mito Gauga
ghauga
गौघाहरं
haram
Haram
हरिम्
harim.
Harim
भक्त्या सञ्जातया भक्त्या
भक्त्या
Bhaktya
Bhaktya
सञ्जातया
sanjataya
Sanjayatya
भक्त्या
bhaktya.
Bhakta
बिभ्रत्य उत्पुलकां तनुम्
Vibrate
बिभ्रत्युत्पुलकं
Utpulakam
Pulakam
Tanum
tanum.
स्मरन्ता स्मारयन्तश्च
स्मरन्ता
Smaranta
Smaranta
स्मारयन्तश्च
Smaranta
मितो गौगाहरं हरिं
मितो
Mito
Mito
ghauga
Gauga
haram
Haram
harim.
Harim
भक्त्या सञ्जयते भक्त्या
भक्त्या
Bhaktya
Bhaktya
सञ्जातया
sanjataya
Sanjayatya
भक्त्या
bhaktya.
Bhakta
विव्रियत उत्पलकं तनुम्
Vibrate
बिभ्रत्युत्पुलकं
Pulakam
Utpulakam
तनुम्.
tanum.
Tanum
Okay, anyone would like to recite? Okay, let's read the synonyms. Remembering,
Smaranata
स्मरन्त
Remembering.
Remembering
रिमेम्बरिङ्ग्
स्मारयन्ता च, and reminding.
स्मारयन्तः च
Marayanta
and
Smaranata
cha and
reminding
Reminding
reminding.
Mitaha, one another.
मितः
Mitaha
Mitaha
One
one
Another
another.
Agha Oga Haram, who takes away everything inauspicious from the devotee.
Aga Oga
Ga
अगोगाहरं
Haram
one who
who
takes away
oga
takes
everything
haram, who
away
takes away
inauspicious
everything
from
everything
the devotee.
inauspicious
inauspicious from the
from the
devotee.
devotee.
Harim, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Harim, the
Harim,
Harim,
the
the
Supreme
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 Personality.
personality
Personality
of
of
Godhead.
Godhead.
Bhaktya, by devotion.
Bhaktiya
Bhaktya
by
by
Bhaktya by
devotion.
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 Sanjataya, awakened.
Sanjataya
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 awakened.
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 Bhaktya, by devotion.
Bhaktya by
Bhaktya
Bhaktya
by
by
devotion.
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 Bibrati, possesses.
Vibrati
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 possesses.
possess.
possess.
Utpulakam, agitated by ecstasy.
Utpulakam
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 agitated by
agitated
agitated
by
by
ecstasy.
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 Tanum, body.
Tanum
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 body.
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 Translation and purport by his disciple of his grace, Bhakti, his divine grace, Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vedanta, sorry, Prabhupada. The devotees of the Lord constantly discuss the glories of the personality of Godhead among themselves. Thus, they constantly remember the Lord and remind one another of his qualities and pastimes. In this way, by their devotion to the principles of Bhakti Yoga, the devotees please the personality of Godhead, who takes away from them everything inauspicious. Being purified of all impediments, the devotees awaken to pure love of Godhead. And thus, even within this world, their spiritualized bodies exhibit symptoms of transcendental ecstasy, such as standing of the bodily hairs on end. Purport. Anyone would like to read the purport?
I can read Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word agauga haram is very significant in this verse. Agha refers to that which is inauspicious or sinful. The living entity is actually Satchit Anandaha Vigraha, or eternal and blissful of and full of bliss and knowledge. But by neglecting his eternal relationship with Krishna, the personality of Godhead, he commits sinful activities and undergoes the inauspicious result in the form of material suffering. The chain of sinful reactions is called obha, or a relentless wave of suffering. Krishna is Agauga Haram Harim. He takes away the sinful reactions of his devotees, who are thus entitled to experience the inconceivable bliss of the kingdom of God, even while remaining in this world. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, God.
The words bhaktya sanjatya bhaktya indicate that there are two divisions of bhakti yoga, sadhana bhakti and raganuga bhakti. Srila Prabhupada has elaborately explained in his book, The Nectar of Devotion, the progress of the devotee from sadhana bhakti, or the execution of regulative principles, to raganuga bhakti, or service executed in love of Godhead. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, a liberated soul is always enthusiastic due to the appearance of transcendental ecstasy within his body. Thus, he always aspired to remain overwhelmed in chanting the glories of the personality of Godhead. Hare, Hare Krishna.
मिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to Saturday morning Bhagavatam discussion. So this chapter, the canto 11th canto, third. So these all the 11th cantos, 12th cantos, these verses were translated by the disciple of Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I believe he translated up to 10th canto, some chapter, I believe. Even he couldn't complete entire 10th canto. Then his disciples picked up from there where he left and continued to translate the remaining cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. See, one of these verses, what we are discussing today. So, what is this canto? It talks about, it's let's discuss little background of what is happening here. Okay, so 11th canto, it talks about it's completely talks about the histories, right? General history. So especially it starts with how the annihilation of Yadu dynasty happened. So in a brief, we discussed many times during our daily Bhagavatam class, like how that Yadu dynasty annihilated, but in a very detailed way, it is mentioned in the 11th canto. So so what happens? So how this verse comes? So this chapter, it's like liberation from illusionary energy. This chapter 3 of 11th canto is all about how to get liberated from this illusory energy. So why did this topic come here? There is a connection. So what is the connection? So once Narad Muni visited Vyasadeva home. Sorry, not Vyasadeva, it's Vasudev in the Dwaraka. So when he visited to Vasudev in Dwaraka, Vasudev greeted him nicely, offered obeisances, offered him to take rest, and feed him nice prasadam. Then he started asking, he requested to Narad Muni to talk about some devotional topic or some Krishna Katha. So he requested to hear from Narad Muni about pure devotional service. So this is what the nature of the devotees. The devotees do not like to talk mundane subject matter. Devotees, their thought, they are always onto lotus feet of Krishna. They release the Krishna topic, and we discussed in our one of the class, like what we are discussing, first canto 16, right? We see that the sages of Naimisharanya, they're also asking, they're also saying, they're asking question to Suta Goswami. Okay, why did Parishit Maharaj did not kill Kali? Rather, he just punished. And they also say that, okay, oh Suta, oh great Brahmana, if it is related to subject matter of Krishna Katha, or it's related to the devotees of the Krishna, then only tell me. Otherwise, you are welcome to reject our question. So that is the mood of all the devotees. Devotees find pleasure in discussing Krishna Katha. They don't find any pleasure of getting or talking or involving any activities which is not related to Krishna, because only the Krishna Katha, devotional service, anything related to devotees of the Krishna, that gives immense pleasure to everyone, and which fulfill our desire or our hankering to get the love of God. So that is why, even today we are discussing Bhagavatam. It's not any mundane topic. So that gives us more pleasure. So to answer the question request, right, Narad Muni started explaining about one of the pastimes. So he explained the conversation between the King Nimi and Nava Yogendra, 9 Yogendras. He discussed, he spoke about them. What is this all about? I mean, what is the conversation happened between them? So 9 Yogendras. So who are 9 Yogendras? Right? Let's try to understand. So the connection is, okay. So Swayambhava Manu. Okay, Swayambhava Manu, son is Priyabrata. Priyabrata has a son. His name was Agnidhara. So I'm just relating, because Swayambhava Manus, all the Manus is the starting, right? From the Manus only the the generation starts, right? So that's why I started it. Swayambhava Manu. Swayambhava Manu, son is Priyabrata. So we have how many Manus we have?
14.
14, right? And which manmantra we are now? Does anyone know? Which Manvantara? Out of 14, it is Vaivasvan, right? It's a Vaivasvan Manu, right? So that's what in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter start, Krishna says, imam vivaspate yogam praktabahanam abhyam vivasvan manuve praha manur ichvak abrabit, right? The word started, right? How, who received whom. So like that, you have a Swayambhava Manu, in the Swayambhava Manu, son, in that Manvantara, the Swayambhava Manu son was Priyavrata, and Priyavrata's son was Agnidhara. Agnidhara's son is Nabhi. So Nabhi's son was Lord Rishabdev. So who is Rishabdev? He is the planetary expansion or planetary portion of Vasudev. So he is the Krishna, he is the Lord Rishabdev. So Lord Rishabdev had 100 sons. Out of that, one son is, who is that? Anyone know? One famous
Bharat
personality,
Maharaj.
Bharat Maharaj, right? One of the sons. Like that, he has 100 sons, and other sons were 9 Yogendras. And also the remaining 81, they all become Brahmanas, different Brahmanas, like that. Okay. So these 9 Yogendras, so the conversation between King Nimi. So once King Nimi was performing sacrificial ceremony. So he invited all the great sages, and during that sacrificial ceremony, the 9 Yogendras were present. Again, the King Nimi was a very pious devotee. He was also Rajarsi, right? We know Krishna also mentioned that evam parampara praptam imam Rajarsiyo vidu sakalena mahata yoga nashta parantapa. So these are Rajarsi. The kings used to be Rajarsi. They are pious king. They were devotees of Krishna, and they used to pass their knowledge to their next generation. That's why the disciplic succession used to be there. And but Krishna says that, but when time passes, that disciple chain was broken in between. Now he's asinta bhaktosimi sakacheti yoga, rahasyam hiyatad. That's saying, now I am telling this knowledge to you again, O Arjuna. Please start the disciples chain again. So the king Nimi was very pious devotee. So when he saw that 9 Yogendras were present, and again, as I started, devotees do not like to talk about some mundane topic, right? They are always interested to hear Krishna Katha if someone is there. So that is what we should also learn. I remember initial day. Initial day or my starting days, when I met my Guru Maharaj first time. Then I was very new, I would say I was associated with devotees, I think for almost 6 to 7 months, that's all, into the ISKCON. Then I met my Guru Maharaj for first time, and a few devotees were with us, like we were in New Vrindavan. So Guru Maharaj gave us the opportunity to meet him for the first time, and we are so excited, and so we are also scared. Also, okay, what should we do? What should we do? We don't know anything. Then the devotees who were present with us, they instructed, right? Okay, I asked, okay, what should I do, right? What should be my conversation? Then he asked, whenever you're meeting, this is such a great elevated soul. Prabhuji told me that do not talk about any mundane topic, or do not ask anything which is materialistic topic. Ask anything which is Krishna conscious topic. Even if you are asking question, ask about Krishna question. Okay, then I realized, okay, that should be that. Otherwise, I would have asked Maharaj how to get a nice job, how to get a, nice income or something, I might have asked. But the Prabhuji, they guided me. He guided me, saying that, okay, do not ask any subject, the mundane subject. So that's what, we are meeting with any elevated souls. Our ideas would be, our intentions would be, how can we extract some Krishna flavor, their devotion, right? They are very elevated soul, and they are they have experience in this path, That's what in the Bhagavad Gita 4.34 says. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeyanti te jnanam jnanis tattvadarshinaha. Tattvadarshinaha. They are tattvadarshina, means they have seen the realities. What should we do? We have to humbly ask them, question them, serve them. That is what these all kings were doing. When King Nimi met 9 Yogendras, immediately he said that he did not want to waste that opportunity. He asked 6 prominent questions. We see that entire Bhagavatam is a question and answer only. Even our life is question and answer. Every moment of our life, we are getting some question, right? Don't you think that? Every moment, every second, from the starting, from when we wake up from the bed, the question starts. Piles of questions. Should I wake up or not? Every moment we are struggling, and also questions are coming. And every time we have to think which is the right answer, right? Otherwise, and many times, if you are not familiar with our scripture, we are not familiar with instruction of gurus, instruction of the great acharyas, then always the answer we get, which will mislead to us. That's what we need to take the shelter of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, gurus, sadhus. Otherwise, we always bewilder. This material existence is full of struggling. Every moment we need to answer our question and go in the right path. Right? Otherwise, even Arjuna got bewildered. He did not want to fight. That's why he immediately surrendered to Krishna. Hey, Krishna, I'm your disciple from today. Please instruct me. What is that? Say the sanimam tvam prapannam. Karpanya doso upahata swabhavaha prichhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha yat sreyan nishchitam bruhitan me sisyastyaham tanimam san prapannam. Please, I am your disciple. Please instruct me, guide me. How should we proceed? So that is what, right? That is what, so we are talking about how the association of the devotees is important in your life. So the King Nimi asked various questions. Obviously, it's not the mundane question. So similarly, even we see that when sages of Naimisharanya ask similar question to Suta Goswami, whoever is devotees are meeting to other devotees, they're asking these similar questions. On the entire Bhagavatam talks about this 6 or 7 questions answer. So for Nimi asked, what is the supreme good for everyone? How can one engage in the devotional service to the Lord? And he asked, tell me more. Tell me about devotees of the Lord. How they deal with, how they interact. What are the natural symptoms by which I can distinguish between the most advanced devotee and the neophyte devotees like me? What is that? What are the natural symptoms where we can distinguish? What they do? What is the typical religious? Okay, so this is what is that Vaishnava? What they do? What is the typical religious principles? And finally, the last question was, he said that he wished to learn about the illusionary potency of the Supreme Lord. So these are the various questions, and the second chapter of 11th canto is describes about all the 5 questions. Very the yoga Nava Yogendra, very interestingly, very nicely, they talks about the philosophy of devotional service, Krishna consciousness. Then to answer the last question, King Nimi wanted to learn about the illusionary potency of the Lord. That's where this third chapter starts. Okay, this third chapter, it talks about the illusory energy of love. What is this illusionary energy or Maya? What is this Maya all about? How can one get rid of Maya? Right? So this chapter describes the nature and activities of the illusionary potency Maya, the method of becoming free from Maya's insurmountable grip, the transcendental situation of the Supreme Lord Narayana, and the process of performing different yoga, by which one becomes free from all materiality. So this is what this entire chapter. So in this matter, we are discussing chapter, verse number 31st. So how can one get rid of this effect of Maya? As I saying, every moment we are struggling with questions, right? Every moment, every time. Even we are sitting in a Bhagavatam, we are listening Bhagavatam, but still the questions are popping up in your mind. Okay, what should I cook today? Okay, I have this service, right? What should I do that? So these questions, right, will pop up every moment, but that we cannot stop the question, but we can understand which answer is proper, right? What should I do to answer? Questions will come, we cannot stop the question, but our duty, our responsibility is to find the correct answer for those questions and proceed in that direction. So how do we get this answer to question? That is important, right? Because in the illusionary energy, it's a Maya always try to defeat us, always try to conquer us, always try to dominate us. It's Maya is like, the mouth of crocodile. So Maya, how everyone know about crocodile, right? How crocodile attack, right? First, crocodile capture whatever the portion he is able to catch. He will catch either little leg, like how when crocodile is looking for his food, right? He will immediately catch. Then first 10%, whatever the grip she will catch, either 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever. She'll catch it. Then she will hold like this for some time. And after that, open it, immediately grab, pull little more inside. She will hold like this. After some time, she will open again pull back inside it. Like that, slowly, the crocodile cannot, eat completely at one go. See, slowly. When after some time, finally, what happened? 100% enter into his belly. So that is the nature of Maya. Maya also, catches us like that slowly. First 10%, 20%, 30%, and finally 100%. We are under the control clutches of Maya. We think that we are independent. We got everything, but when we open our eyes, we are in the womb of a crocodile. So here crocodile is Maya. So this effect of Maya is so dangerous, it's very difficult to overcome. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Devi hi eso gunamayi mama maya durattaya evam evam ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite mama eva ye prapadyante. You know? So devihi eso gunamayi mama maya durattaya. No, what is that? Devihi eso gunamayi. This maya, what we are talking about. Sometimes we say that three modes of material nature. Sometimes we say that it's illusionary energy. Sometimes we say that it's the external energy of the Lord. Sometimes we say that Mahamaya or Maya. So this Maya, or sometimes we also say it's Durga. So this Maya has a different names. All represents this Devi here. So this Devi, this is, Krishna says this Maya, external energy, is it's divine energy of mind, which consists of three modes of material nature, which is very difficult to overcome. Krishna saying that, Krishna himself saying that. It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. Don't think that, don't take the Maya, it's so easy to overcome. It's very difficult to overcome. Prabhupada sometimes say, at least try to, at least, try to become, what is that say that? Be fearful of Maya, at least, don't underestimate. So even Prabhu Krishna says this. It's very difficult to overcome. But, right? But, that is important. It's not that it's very difficult. It's true, it's very difficult, but there is a solution. What is the solution? Mama eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. But those who surrender to me, ladies and gentlemen, those who surrender to me, mayam etam tarantite, they can easily overcome the effect of Maya. So this is what we need to understand. Surrender. If someone surrender to Krishna, they can easily overcome the effect of Maya. Otherwise, with our endeavor, we cannot we cannot be success in the struggle. It's a struggle. It's a long journey of struggle. Sometimes people say this material world is, we are enjoying. I have everything. I have a bank balance. I have a nice wife, house, everything. Every weekend I'm going out. I'm enjoying. But they're not able to understand that they are in the jaws of crocodile. They may feel that happy, but slowly when they realize that they are in the womb of crocodile, then they can see that, oh, what I've done, what is this miseries, where I am, how I enter into this crocodile, when did crocodile catch me? So that is the situation. So we need to understand, this situation of ours. So this Bhagavatam, this chapter describes same thing, how to overcome, this Maya. So this verse saying smaranta, smaranta, remembering, and smarayantascha, by reminding, So when the devotees of the Lord, constantly discuss the glories of the personality of the Godhead among themselves, the devotees, their goal is what? Their devotees always remember, they're thinking about Krishna, they're discussing about Krishna, when you meet with a devotee, it's very less chance that, most of the time, they do Krishna Katha, That's true, right? They don't talk mundane topic. They do Krishna Katha, something other than either Krishna's service or Krishna's devotees or the Krishna himself or Krishna's pastime. So they devote, and thus they constantly remember the Lord, and with that association of the devotee, what happened? Smarayantascha. They remind other devotees. So that's very important. Why the association of the devotee is so important? Sometimes we feel that, oh, I'm in this movement for last 30 years. I've reached this elevated position. I don't need any association of the devotee. But Maya attacks in those kind of situations. The crocodile, which I'm talking about, they see that, oh, this devotee is staying alone now. He feels that he doesn't need any association. Top catches. So, but that's why we need association of the devotee every moment of our life. We should not think that we do not need devotee because we are now Uttama Adhikari. No, every moment there is a chance of fall down because of the Maya. Devi hi aisa gunamai. It's very difficult, right? And what is the benefit of taking the association of the devotee? Smarayantascha. They help us to remind about Krishna. Even if we are falling down, even if we are forgetting about Krishna, they come in your life and they remind us, hey, you are forgetting Krishna. You should think about Krishna. That is the power of devotees association. So in this verse says that the devotees of the Lord constantly discuss the personality of Godhead among themselves. Thus, they constantly remember the Lord and remind one another of his qualities and pastimes. In this way, by their devotion to the principles of Bhakti Yoga, the devotees please the personality of Godhead, who takes away from them everything inauspicious. So what is the result of that? The Supreme Personality of Godhead takes away everything inauspicious from them. That is what in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna concluded in 18.66. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayasyami ma suchaha. Krishna also saying like that. I will take, just surrender unto me, rest all leave it up to me, onto me. I will take care of rest. No, just surrender. Your duty is surrender. But that is the problem with all of us. We are unable to surrender completely because of our attachment to so many things. So in this verse says, Mitho Gauga Haram Harim. So who takes away everything in your species. So all the sinful things, Agaha means it is like sinful. Ogaha means it eradicated. There are so many sinful things, right? So bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. So bhaktya, what they done when we take the shelter or association of devotee, they remind us, even if you are forgetting about Krishna, or if you are diverting to away from Krishna, then they remind us. That is what the association. So then what is saying that being purified in all impediments, that devotees awaken to pure love of God, and thus even within this world, their spiritual body exhibits symptoms of transcendental ecstasy, such as standing of the body. When they get that situation, they become transcendental ecstasy. So Prabhupada here saying the word Agaugha Haram is very significant in this verse. Agha means, Agha refers to that which is inauspicious or sinful. The living entity is actually Sachidananda Vigraha, or eternal and full of bliss and knowledge. But by neglecting his eternal relationship with Krishna, the personality of Godhead, he commits sinful activities and undergoes the inauspicious result in the form of material suffering. The chain of sinful reaction is called ogha. The sinful reaction is ogha, or the relentless web of suffering. Krishna is the ogha haram harim. Means he is the destroyer of all the sinful reaction. He takes away sinful reaction. No? So that is what it says that. So that's the importance of bhakti, yoga bhakti, performing the bhakti and taking the association of the devotees. Association always helpful as, even if you are sometimes struggling in this with this Maya, when you live with devotees, our struggling becomes easy. So I always like to give this example. When you are in a crowd, right? Especially if you see in India, in a railway platform, local trains, all these things, right? How people get into the train. You need to be in the crowd. That's all. You need not to put any effort. When you within that crowd, inside the crowd, what they do, they just push you in such a way that when you open your eyes, you see that you are in the train, and you realize, okay, I didn't put any effort to get into the train. I just stayed and closed my eyes. So that is what in the process of bhakti also. If we are in the middle of devotees, in the group of devotees, within the association of group devotee, the devotees effect, devotees push us in such a way that we are someday we realize that, okay, we also got some flavor of the bhakti. So that is what we should practice. We should try to be in the association of devotee. We should never think that at any time okay, we got immune. We are we did sadhana for a long time. Now we are good because devotees are always merciful. And holy name of the Lord, right? That is always devotees and a holy name. That is a Shravanam, listening, attending Srimad Bhagavatam. See, Bhagavatam is also it's a powerful weapon. This Bhagavatam is very powerful. If we sincerely listen Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, right? That is what our goal. We should read Bhagavatam every day and listen, read, or talk about Bhagavatam. That gives us immense pleasure also, which intact, which stick our path of devotion, our sadhana. There is a verse come in a second canto, 8th chapter, 5th verse. Pravishtaha karana randrena swanam bhava saroruham dhunati samalam krishna salilasya yatha sarat. What it says, the sound incarnation of the Lord, Krishna, the Supreme Soul. So what is that sound incarnation or Supreme Soul? It's talking about Srimad Bhagavatam. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. Enter into the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus it acts like a autumnal rains upon the pools of muddy water. Pravishtam karana randrena. So what is that? This Srimad Bhagavatam, when we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is what Krishna's literal incarnation, Krishna. Also, the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, every syllable of Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam, which enters into our heart, Karana Randrena, through the holes of our ear, it enters of the ear, which cleanses every impurity in our heart. That is what beauty of the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? That's what we should practice, listen, hear, read Bhagavatam. That's what. Even if you're unable to read due to some reason, right? At least if you join, if someone is reading, that also gives an equal benefit if someone is reading or talking about Krishna Katha. You know, that's what I think I would like to end here. So thank you very much, everyone, for hearing me and giving your association. And we are talking about the association of devotee. So I feel always enthusiastic when I come and talk about Krishna Katha. More than that, talking about Krishna Katha, I feel happy that I'm able to associate with all of you. You know, which I say that I'm not doing any effort, right? I'm just staying within you, with all of you, and you are all pushing me towards getting that love of God. Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to add anything? Any questions or comment?
Can you speak a little bit about the Nava Yogendras, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. So I did not read fully detail about Nava Yogendras, but I'm not sure in which chapter that it talks about in elaborately, but in this chapter I got little introduction. Nava Yogendras, they are a son of Lord Rishabdev. Hmm? Rishabdev is none other than Krishna. It's a Lord. He incarnated as Lord Rishabdev. Lord Rishabdev had 100 sons, and one son was Bharat. We know the Bharat Maharaj, and the other 9 sons are Yogendra, and like that he has remaining 80s or 9 sons. They are great Brahmanas. So these 9 Yogendras, it says that they. Let me read a little about them. What it says. Who are these 9 Yogendras? What is they did? Okay. Yeah, 9 Yogendras. It is, you can, I'm reading 11th canto, chapter 2. Okay. So, Sri Rishabdev is accepted as an expansion of the Supreme Lord, Vasudev. He incarnated in this world to propagate those religious principles that lead living entity to ultimate liberation. He had 100 sons, all perfect in Vedic knowledge. Of the 100 sons of Lord Rishabdev, the eldest, Bharat, was completely devoted to Lord Narayan. It is because of Bharat's fame that this planet is now celebrated as a great Bharatverse. King Bharat rejected this material world, considering all types of material pleasure temporary and useless. Leaving his beautiful young wife and family, he worshipped Lord Hari by severe austerities and attained the abode of the Lord after 3 lifetimes. 9 of the remaining sons of Rishabdev become the rulers of 9 islands of Bharatavarsha, and they exercise complete sovereignty over this planet. 81 sons become twice born Brahmana and helped initiate the Vedic path of fruitive sacrifice. The 9 remaining sons of Rishabdev were greatly fortunate sages who worked vigorously to spread the knowledge of absolute truth. They were about they they they, were, they wandered about naked and were very well versed in spiritual science. So they are 9 Yogendras. Their names were Kabi, Habir, Antariksha, Prabhuddha, Pipalayana, Abhirhotra, Dhrumila, Chamasa, and Karabhajana. These sages wandered the earth, seeing the entire universe with all its gross and subtle objects as a manifestation of Supreme Lord and as a non-different from itself. The 9 Yogendras are liberated souls who travel freely to the planets of the demigods, the perfected mystics, the sadhyas, the heavenly musicians, the yakshas, the human beings, and the minor demigods such as kinnaras and serpents. So they travel everywhere. No mundane force can check their free movement. And exactly as they wish, they can travel as well to the world of the sages, the angels, the ghostly followers of Lord Shiva. You know, that is what it talks about, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you're right. A single moment away from the devotees Maya can attack you.
Hare Krishna, any other question or comment? All right, I think we are almost 9. So if there is no question or comment, then let's stop here. Let's offer our Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpa tarubhishta kripa sindhu vaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad
Srimad
Bhagavatam
Bhagavatam
ki
ki jai. Rasaraj Prabhu ki jai. We were happy to see you today, Prabhu.
jai. I feel happy, right? As I said, it's all association. And
We like your classes.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Prabhupada.